at KELPradio.com.
915 Talk is a production of Desert Voice Media. You can visit desertvoice.media to learn more.
915 TALK.
The world is looking at El Paso.
What will we say to the world? From the KELP studio in El Paso, this is 915 Talk.
And now your host.
Good afternoon, beautiful citizens of the borderland. This is 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Frecka. Today we are broadcasting from the heart of the world's largest borderplex. We're here at the KELP studio in El Paso. And today we have Mac Daddy Del Norte on the board. Mac Daddy, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Andy, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I must confess that my vocabulary is painfully poverty-stricken. I find my vocabulary failing as I attempt to describe the wonder and joy of this educational journey that we have embarked upon, as each and every weekday afternoon we learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
That sounds amazing.
I'm glad you're doing good, though.
I'm doing great. Yeah.
So today we have a very special guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know why she's special?
Yes, because she is the unique expression of an endlessly creative God.
Ah, yes, she is the unique expression of an endlessly creative God. Also, she asked me a question when she came in.
Oh, what's
she
that?
said, "Andy, why are you doing this program?"
Uh-huh.
I said, that's a great question. So this is why we do this program. I want to remind our listeners, so many of us know what's happening in our own home. If we're church-going folks, we might know what's going on in our church.
Yeah.
We know what's going on maybe at our place of work. And we know what's going on in Washington, D.C. But we know so little about what's going on in our own hometown. We get all worked up about these national issues. And maybe we should.
True.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
But we have maybe more of an ability to bring change and serve right here at home.
Definitely. That is so true.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree, Mac Daddy.
I do agree, actually.
So there's a few other reasons why our guest is special.
Why is that?
She's been on the program now 2 times.
True.
Which I think that makes anyone extra special.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, what would you say is the fancy part of El Paso, Mac Daddy Del Norte?
That's a great question, man. The fancy part of El Paso.
The fancy part.
Oh, man.
I think our guest wants to say something. We'll get there. We'll get there to what she has to say about that. So you're an East Side kind of guy.
Now I am, yes.
Yeah, I'm a Central El Paso kind of guy.
For a long time I was Central.
Central El Paso is it's its own world.
Yeah, it actually is. It is.
But I enjoy it. I love it. I love Central El Paso. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people want to attain a level of a El Paso citizenshipery. I don't know what the word is here. They want to move to the West Side.
Ooh,
the West Side. And you're not interested?
No.
Well,
it's a chaos. It's a whole nother world on that
side. I think our guest has something to say about that too. So that whole side is District 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's District 1. And since you just we're dissing District 1. Yeah, wow. You're bringing pain. Yes. I think I need to say that we have the District 1 representative in the house. Also, it was fun today. I looked up, just her bio, like all this. She's in. Did you study Latin in high school when you went to Austin?
No
Latin at Austin High School.
I don't remember.
You don't remember if you studied Latin?
No, I don't remember studying it.
Yeah,
so
no, you probably didn't then. So she's. I had to ask her how to pronounce it because I think it's Latin. Okay. Pretty sure. She's the mayor pro tem. Oh. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
So it's kind of like. Well, she can explain. It's kind of like vice mayor.
Vice mayor?
Yeah.
So the first
kind of what I'm saying is she's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But I think what she's most excited about is she is a true daughter of the borderland. She grew up here. She went to Loretto. I feel like anyone who goes to Loretto is like a true El Pasoan.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't see why not.
And she ran a restaurant for quite a few years.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And now she's in public service. So without further ado, let's give a very warm Borderland welcome to the one, the only, Representative Alejandra Chavez. Representative Chavez, welcome back.
Hi, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I feel like I need to apologize for Mac Daddy Del Norte's view of District 1.
I'm a little bit heartbroken.
I know, right?
Yes, Mac Daddy.
I'm so sorry. I was just there the other day trying to get my taxes done.
You do your taxes on the white. Why did you go?
I do. My tax lady lives over there, bro. There's chaos. You can't there's just a lot of chaos on the roadways right now.
On the roadways.
Yes.
Be specific. Not now. You have to be specific.
Well, there's a lot of construction.
Okay.
And a lot of traffic, a lot of accidents. Like,
Really?
come on, man.
See,
That's probably the El Pasoans. I don't know.
where were you on the? Where does your tax
All the
lady
way
live
by,
on the west side?
Red Road.
Red Road. Oh, so was it like I-10 where all the construction was?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
Well, that has nothing to do with local government. like
Still on the west side,
you're basing your whole experience on the west side to I-10.
To I-10.
So Representative Chavez, I think this is possibly the bane of your existence, that everyone equates I-10 with District 1.
Yes. But Mac Daddy, I'm just happy to know that my constituents are so smart that you're willing to drive through all that chaos to get there.
True. That is true.
I'm confused why you drive to your tax lady. Do you know that this can be done online?
Well, yeah, but she helps me out pretty good, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So it was worth your drive?
It was worth my drive.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. So Red Road, there is an issue, I think, with the. I don't think there's even an exit there currently, right? Or is there?
Well, kind of
Like you have to get off early.
Yeah,
And that kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you just weren't used to it. You're a little stressed out. You're dealing with your taxes. All right. We need to get back to the west side and hear it from Representative Chavez. You have to deal with this every day. People calling you about I-10.
Yes.
All right. So before we get further into that whole discussion, let's clarify.
Please.
What part is the cities and what part is not the cities?
I-10 is not the cities.
Okay. So you do you have a say at all in what happens on I-10 as a district rep?
I do not have a say because TxDOT is the entity that determines all of their construction
Right.
on I-10 and other streets.
Okay. Yeah, and so that has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with me, but, Andy, I'm going to do a plug.
Okay.
Every month at my community meeting, there's a TxDOT representative there.
Oh, they do come.
They come every
They
month.
show up.
They show up and they answer questions.
Okay.
And so I have a direct line of communication with them so I can ask them questions.
So I'm impressed by that, to be honest. TxDOT shows up to your community meetings.
Yes, they do.
Is there really an influence that we can have on TxDOT?
It depends on what you want.
Okay. Can
Isn't
you
that
give
a
me an
good
example?
answer? It depends.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm also a mom, right? So I
Right.
think that's a very appropriate answer. I feel like I use that a lot as a parent
That's
too.
hilarious.
It depends, right?
Right, exactly. So what does it depend on?
So I'll give you an example. If it's a big project like something on I-10, I mean, those things are designed, they're set, their timelines are what they are. I can't influence that.
Right.
But if you have a suggestion on something that's going to be done in the future, and I'm going to give you a perfect example of something, they may be able to help us.
Okay.
So I had a constituent really early on when I came into office last year that emailed me and said, I see high schoolers and young adults walking on the access road between EPCC Northwestern and Canutillo High School every day.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they're walking on dirt roads because there is no sidewalk there. And it's dangerous.
Right.
It's creating a safety hazard for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do about it? Well, that access road on I-10 does not belong to the city either. It belongs to TxDOT.
Mm.
And so I literally called the TxDOT representative and then emailed him and said, is there something we can do about it?
Right. Yes. So, what did they say?
Well, I mean, surprisingly enough, and this is where I encourage so many people to get involved, right?
Right.
Because sometimes it takes advocacy at all different levels
Sure.
in order to make change.
Yeah.
So we emailed the TxDOT representative, and they were in the process at that time of changing the design in that area. It's close to Red Road. You know, it's a little past Artcraft, but in that area where they're making a lot of changes right now. And so we emailed him, and he emailed back, and guess what he said? This is amazing.
I can't even begin to imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe that something like this would be possible. He said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to put a sidewalk into the design when we redo that area.
Yeah. Okay. No. So that's super cool to hear. And I know that exact spot.
Yep.
And that access road is, I don't want to say it's scary. It's just, it's a lot of traffic.
Yep.
And cars are, possibly not all motorists are obeying the posted speed limit. And to think about young people, maybe even after dark, walking anywhere near that access road is a little bit scary. But, you know, I think a lot of people can get cynical over time and think, well, they're just going to do whatever they're going to do. Why should I even mention anything? So that's super cool to hear.
And here's the big win about that.
Okay.
I asked the TxDOT representative, how much is that sidewalk going to cost? I just wanted to know, you know, what he was willing to kind of just throw into the design last minute.
I feel like this number is going to blow my mind.
Probably. You want to take a guess?
So what's the length of the sidewalk? Just roughly?
You know what? That I don't know.
Okay,
I don't remember it.
But it's like a half mile, right?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I'm going to go with like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Can you take a closer stab at it?
Am I like, I'm not
You're
like,
pretty close.
okay. So I'm going to say $250,000.
And that would have been like amazing, right?
So that's a good amount.
That's a good amount, and that would have
Okay.
been amazing. Well, guess what it costs? $600,000. And just because a constituent emailed my office and suggested that sidewalk, and we were able to communicate that to TxDOT in a timely way right before they were, you know, finishing the design of that area, they
Yeah.
were able to implement it last minute. And they were able, I don't know how they found the funding for it, but they
Right.
said, yes, we can do a sidewalk. And it's
Okay.
going to cost $600,000.
And
Isn't
to
that
be
amazing?
clear, and to be clear, we as El Pasoans are not paying the $600,000.
No.
Okay.
This is a TxDOT project.
Right. Okay. So it's
Yeah, that's good that
state
you said
and
that.
federal.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly right.
All right. Because I think some listeners might think if we're paying for it, that doesn't sound super great. I'm not worried about the sidewalk anymore. But okay, so that's super cool. So someone reached out to you. You reached out to TxDOT.
Yep.
TxDOT's putting in a $600,000 sidewalk. Mac Daddy, I think we're doing the wrong thing. I think we need to get into making sidewalks for TxDOT. But that's super cool. Okay, so you say that TxDOT is coming to the meetings. Do people show up for these meetings? Do they come?
Yes.
Okay. In the way that you want?
So this year, actually, I would like to engage more people to come to those meetings,
Okay.
especially our youth.
So define youth. Like teenagers, 20-somethings.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there's a segment of the population that seems to be a little bit disconnected with local politics. And you mentioned it, you know, when you were just
Yeah.
introducing me.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of elderly people who have, you know, maybe come to understand how important this is.
Yeah.
But there's another big segment of our population that's maybe just a little disconnected, more than I would like them to be.
Okay. All right. So you invite the young people to come to your community meetings. What can they expect when they get there?
Well, first of all, to be informed.
Okay.
Secondly, to understand the process, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
how to be a part of it so that they can create the city that they want to live in and experience every day.
Right. Okay. All right. And the last time you were here, we talked about, I don't know if you've heard this at all, but there's this issue in El Paso where a lot of people feel that real estate tax is a little high. Have you heard about this?
No, Andrew. I'm so glad I'm here.
So, of course, the answer to that is always like we need to attract more business.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about that. You've been on the job for a year, and I think so. You're here a year ago, and now you're here again, which is, I think it's super cool, super fun, because every great vision or every great idea eventually turns into a lot of hard work. So what does the work look like now, a year in, to attract business?
Yeah. So definitely it's very rewarding because of the opportunity that exists.
Mm-hmm.
Being in public office is not easy. I don't think anybody could do it, only because it means that you're sacrificing a lot of your privacy
Mm-hmm.
to do public
Sure,
work,
of
to be a
course.
public servant, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I identify most with, more than being like a politician. I think I'm a public servant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to define that, basically.
Okay.
What do you want to do and what do you want to get out of it?
So let's talk about that for a second, because
Okay.
you don't think of yourself so much as being a politician, a public servant. You talk about how you give up privacy. So basically what I'm hearing you say is you're letting everyone know I'm here and I want to help.
Exactly. And it's being completely vulnerable
Right.
most of the time. I mean, you don't know what to expect, and you have to make sure that you're approachable
Mm-hmm.
and that you're accessible.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of things to different people, right? So you're accessible to people agreeing with you and to disagreeing with you, both
Mhm.
at the same time.
Right. Okay. And it means even coming on a program like 915 Talk, and you didn't even ask for a list of questions in advance.
No.
A lot of people do. I don't know if you know about this. They want to know all the questions, but you didn't even ask for the questions.
No.
You're like, I'm here to serve.
And I'm open to an honest conversation, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, so what is the feedback you're hearing?
Well, so far the feedback is good,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was campaigning, I said I wanted to bring the best of what I learned in customer service to City Hall.
Mm,
So it's my approach is a very customer service centric approach.
mm-hmm.
So again, it's being accessible, it's being approachable, it's being available to my community. I'm not asking my community to come to my community meetings, although I'd love for them to. I can come to them too. And I
Yeah.
have an initiative called Connected Communities. So I go out to a neighborhood park and meet with constituents there,
Right. Yeah. I
so
saw
that I
Yeah.
can meet them where they are
Mhm.
at the time that they're available.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to dive deeper into that. If you're just joining us, we're with Representative Alejandra Chavez. She's the District 1 rep here in the city of El Paso. Also, she's the mayor pro tem. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did, Andy. Thank you.
It's super cool. We're talking all things El Paso. Mac Daddy, just be aware I-10 is not a city issue, although it affects all of us. And maybe you need to go to a community meeting, Mac Daddy.
Yes, definitely. I am learning as well. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, we do need to take a break. Before we go into the break, this is your daily reminder that 915 Talk is a production of Desert Voice Media. The website is just that, desertvoice.media. And you can listen to any this or any previous 915 Talk conversation by going there, clicking on the 915 Talk link. We truly appreciate each and every one of you who join us each and every weekday afternoon as we learn a little bit more about our community. Let's go into a break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
915 Talk is listener supported and is a production of Desert Voice Media. That's right. It's people just like you who make this program possible. Together with Desert Voice, you can learn how to better serve our neighbors and pray for our community. To become a Desert Voice Media partner, you can visit desertvoice.media. That's right. That's the website, desertvoice.media. Take a look and join us today in reaching our borderland for Christ.
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to connect your Sunday faith with your Monday work? Hi, my name is Tiffany Etterling, and I'm the host of a brand new program right here on KELP called the 323 Podcast. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, do it as unto the Lord. Through stories and conversations with business leaders and difference makers, the 323 Podcast equips listeners to honor God in the way they lead, create, and serve. because in everything we do, our work can reflect the one we serve. Join me each and every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the 323 podcast, right here on KELP Radio.
915.
Testify.
I got stricken with this horrible disease called multiple sclerosis, and I was given a 4-year death sentence. I said, no, I'm not going to take this. And I said, no, my God is greater. With God's help and the encouragement of my family, I did what was necessary. I did what I needed to do. Something I always wanted to do since I was 11 years old. It's getting into the Border Patrol, and I succeeded. It was a gut check and a real kick in the teeth, if you will. I had always been a sports player. Always been active since I was 3 years old in sports. And this year, I celebrate 14 years with my wife. The 14 extra years that the Lord's given me, I was able to marry my wife and have the children we have. My name is BJ Hunt. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I give all the glory to God. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for what He did for me. And if He can do it for me, He can do it for you.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb
And by the word of their testimony.
desertvoice.media.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. Today we have with us District 1 Representative Alejandra Chavez. We've been talking about so many things. The time just flies by too quickly on these programs. I'm going to talk West Side a little bit, how I view it as a Central El Pasoan. There are certain parts of West El Paso that I really, really like. Other parts I'm like, I don't really see a huge difference between this and other parts of the city. But I think one of the challenges for all parts of El Paso are to find places really for people to get together and meet. And you can go to a park, but if you don't have a dog or a child, it's kind of, there's not a whole lot to do. There's, of course, tons of businesses on the west side. But what are some of the ways that we can really bring community together better?
I love that question, Andy, because that's one of my pillars, actually, to build community. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for things to do on the west side, I have to give a plug for the trails that exist in District 1. We have the Lost Dog Trail that people love and fought for to protect that space. So protecting open space and having access to the Franklin Mountains is really important to me.
Yeah.
A lot of people deliberately live in those areas because it helps with their mental health and their physical health as well. So making sure that we keep those spaces available for our community and for others that want to join us, whether it be biking or hiking, is important. And there'll be more to come for that soon, hopefully.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned Lost Dog Trail. Is there like a way to really genuinely attract also small business? Because I somehow in my mind believe there's more community with small business than big box stores, for example. Although I think we all appreciate the convenience of the big stores. So what does that look like to attract the mom and pop businesses or really support them in what they're doing?
Okay, so I have an initiative called Field Focus Fridays. And on Fridays, twice a month, I drive around with my staff in the district. And first of all, we're looking for things that need to be identified, concerns or whatever. But we also do this initiative so that we can support local small businesses.
Right.
And that sometimes means restaurants, it means coffee shops, or manufacturing plants. There's some of that in the district I represent as well. So just as an example, a couple weeks ago, I was stopping by to get some coffee on Donovan Street, 787 Coffee. I didn't even know they had a whole petting zoo.
Oh, wow.
In the back.
I didn't know that.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
And they have these caregivers for these animals, and they were so proud of the work that they're doing. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a cool place. You can come have coffee and visit with nature, right? Animals. I didn't even know that there was a petting zoo. So I think there's a lot of opportunities like that in terms of supporting small businesses. But we have to make sure that we put in the effort, that we visit these places and not only visit them, but then we have to promote them. We have to talk about them. We have to make sure that they feel supported.
Right.
So we have other initiatives from the city, like Boss, the Business One Stop Shop, and others from the city that are there to support businesses as well. And they do a bunch of, programming and things to support those businesses. So a really good thing to do would be to either come to one of my community meetings,
Yeah.
mentioning it again,
Right.
or emailing me or following me on social media, sending us that message so that you can be a part of those initiatives and get
Right.
the support that you need.
Yeah. How does it look for city government to promote a local business?
Well, it could mean different things for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
So businesses sometimes want to be involved. So just as an example, I've had a few events where I've used local food vendors, food trucks, and when I've used them, well, you can't use them unless they're a part of a system at the city.
Right.
So they have
okay.
to be registered with the city at the city, and
They have to have their paperwork.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
have to be a registered vendor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So showing them what that process looks like and enabling them to do that
Yeah.
is a way to get their foot in the door, right? So that
Sure.
not only I can use them, but then others, I mean, over the 6,000 employees at the city, if they need to source a vendor for whatever reason, and that could
Right.
be anything, right? I just use the example of a food truck,
Sure.
but that could be a print shop, or it could be
Okay.
someone else that provides a service.
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking for information on how to do that, they can also contact my office or their rep's office, or anyone else at the city, so that they can get registered as a vendor and then be utilized for different events and programming.
Okay. So you ran a restaurant for many years.
Yes.
You're a foodie.
Yes.
And for those listening on the radio, we just got the biggest smile from Representative Chavez when I brought up food and restaurants.
Yeah, because I'm thinking you're going to ask me red or green. No?
No.
No. Okay.
That's hilarious that you remember that. But I've seen on social media here in El Paso that a lot of restaurants are closing.
Yes.
And I don't even know if city government has anything to do with that. And a lot of people are upset about it. I'm okay. I live within walking distance of Kiki's on Piedras. I'm good to go. So I don't really understand that world. But I know for a lot of people that's really a part of their life, is whatever their neighborhood restaurant is. So can you define what's going on and if city government can be a part of that?
Yeah. So, the cost of everything has gone up so much. And not only has the cost of labor, but, the cost of goods. And so I think being profitable in that industry has become more and more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if you only have that one restaurant that you're operating, maybe you're not managing those costs as effectively as you could, and that has contributed towards not being able to sustain your operation and potentially going out of business.
Right.
And it's really sad because small businesses employ people and they contribute in a very big way to our local tax economy,
Right.
through sales tax and labor and everything else.
Sure.
And so we really need to find a way to support these businesses as much as we can.
Right.
Sometimes that could be financial help, through the SBA, or just education in general, or through our workforce solutions or things like that. There are a lot of different nonprofit organizations that help businesses. The city, of course, is a provider of educational resources, not so much financial ones, but there
Yeah.
are other people that we could connect them to help them with these issues that they're facing. But
Right.
I would just encourage our community to continue supporting local establishments as much as they can,
Sure.
and continue talking about them. You mentioned Kiki's being down the street from
Yeah.
where you live. I think having opportunities to live in walkable areas is something that's very important as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's the whole point of having this show, is making El Paso more walkable. But you mentioned just the margins are getting thinner and thinner. Do you think that's a problem that's bigger in El Paso, just because maybe the income isn't as high here in general, or do you think that's a nationwide issue?
I think it's a nationwide issue. The cost of goods, I think, is growing everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and then the labor shortages and the cost of labor is also increasing. I just think that businesses are having to find more creative solutions to be profitable and to stay in business.
Yeah, I gotcha. If you're just joining us with El Paso District 1 Representative Alejandra Chavez. Always enjoy these conversations, but right now we have Charlie 1 on the phone. Charlie 1, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
Not too bad, Andy. However, a couple of things I want to cover, though. First of all, on the east side, we have Joe Battle and Pelicano. Injury crash here, so because it is with injury, we still have PD investigating that one. Joe Battle and Pelicano, busy intersection, that with injury. Then go to the west side, a couple of things here where there's some slow up. Desert North and Thorn lane closures go on, but also I-10 east of Thorn, right 2 lanes are closed there for construction. That Thorn area and I-10 east, Desert, a lot of construction going on there. Plus, Mesa and Desert south and north, lane closures here. So just count on that area right there in the Upper Valley west side to be just slow-moving traffic there. At times you're in a single lane, so just keep that in mind. And Andy, back to you.
Charlie 1, this afternoon we have El Paso District 1 representative in the studio, Alejandra Chavez. She's over there on El Paso's west side, and she just looked really, really sad when you talked about some of the slowdowns on El Paso's west side. And I think one is dealing with a difficult situation can be a bowl of homemade menudo. Where would you recommend anyone from El Paso's west side or east side to go for that bowl of homemade menudo?
That's the place that comes to mind right now because you can go get it any time. You can get it at day, nighttime. Well, they close, I think, about 6. But Eastside Choice Meats and Loboland and Trade with homemade menudo. It's in a 32-ounce jar that will feed, probably make about 3 plates right there.
Yeah.
And just very delicious. Take it home and just enjoy it on your own time whenever you can. But you're going to enjoy it. It's best in the morning because it's just something about that morning menudo that just really hits the spot. So just take it home, pick it up, and maybe on your way, if you're in the area, you just pick it up and take it home in the morning. Enjoy it, Andy.
Thank you, Charlie 1. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
And we're back with Representative Alejandra Chavez. Representative, I think we just talked about menudo. So you're a native El Pasoan. You're a foodie. You studied the culinary arts in Italy. I think we just need to have a little bit of an understanding of that journey. Why Italy? Why Italian food? Why did that just, when you were younger, that seemed to really pop out for you, coming from this land that has really great food, but not a whole lot of Italian?
Yeah. So food to me is a way to connect to people. And it's a way to build memories.
Sure.
It connects us to our past, and I think food is just a very strong symbol of tradition and family and even potentially, love and warmth and just good things, right?
Yeah.
I feel very passionate about food and the industry, the hospitality industry in general. So I had an opportunity to go to culinary school, and I wanted to go to Italy and live there for a year.
Yeah.
I know you've also lived abroad, Andy, so you know the feeling of living abroad and the experiences that can come with. So it was just a great opportunity for me that I came back to my hometown and started catering from home and opened a small 4-table restaurant, and then it eventually grew and owned and operated it for over 20 years.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the answer to my question, my hard-hitting question. Why Italian food?
I had already traveled to Italy in the past prior to enrolling in culinary school
so
there.
it
I
was more
loved
about
Italy than the food. Well, it's a combination of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The country, the food, and the people.
Yeah.
Very similar to our here in El Paso.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Italy's amazing, and that's a super cool story of building a restaurant. I think when you think of a business, a lot of people think restaurant, but I can't think of a more difficult business to get into. So that's such a great story. On that positive note, let's talk about immigration.
All right.
Yeah. Again, it's more of a federal issue.
Yes, it is.
But we live in El Paso. It's impossible to ignore. What would you want our listeners to know as far as maybe your view or the city's view. I say this quite often on this program. I don't envy any local leaders here on the border. It's a high level of pressure as you're trying to balance so many different issues. But what would you want our listeners to hear on that subject?
It is a high level of pressure, but let me talk to you about this point, Andy, because I think it's really important. You mentioned taxes earlier in our conversation, and it's something that everybody talks about and is worried about. And the pathway to lowering those taxes is through economic development. We have to flip the burden from homeowners to businesses in terms of their contribution, the percentage of contribution towards our local economy.
Yeah.
If we want to attract businesses to come establish themselves in our city, whether that be small businesses or large manufacturing plants, whatever it may be, we need to ensure that we have a safe city and that we have quality of life in our city to attract those businesses. And that the narrative about the way we talk about our city is in a positive way.
Right. Okay.
Right? And we need to make sure that us locally, here El Pasoans that have lived here, that have deliberately chosen to raise our families here, that love El Paso for the many reasons we should love El Paso, we need to make sure that we control that narrative. Because if we let all the outsiders control the narrative, we might be, portrayed in a light that's not beneficial to that pathway towards economic development.
Right. Okay. So at the beginning of this program, in the intro, it says, the world is looking at El Paso. What will we say to the world? And the reason I have that in the intro is because that's one of the things I realized after I moved to El Paso now almost 4 years ago, was that the world is looking at El Paso. But what often happens is a news correspondent, journalist flies in from New York City, LA, I don't know where they come from. They've been here for a few hours and they tell our story, meaning El Paso's story, to the world. So you said that we need to kind of control that narrative. So what is the narrative?
Well, the narrative, first and foremost, is that we are a safe city. And I look at the crime rate report every week because it's sent to me. And I'm proud to report that District 1, the district I represent, has the lowest crime rate in all of the city of El Paso.
Yeah.
But overall, our chief of police does a great job in keeping our city safe, and all the officers that work in our police department. Just last week, I was at the graduation ceremony where we inducted 33 new officers and 5 laterals. So every day, the morale is high at the police department, and we continue to provide new officers to our community to continue to keep our community safe. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's a huge subject. The police academy, attracting new officers. I was talking, I think sadly for you probably, I was talking with a police officer who went through the academy here and then spent a few years serving here in El Paso, and then he went to another city in Texas. What do you think needs to happen in order to maintain a strong police force, and where our youngest, best, and brightest maybe aren't lured away? Because it's kind of, the way I understand, it's a bit of a financial burden for us as a city because we're training them, getting them started, and then maybe they're leaving.
Well, I think the retention rate has gotten better, and they have, all benefits and a pension. I just recently heard that they have a pension and not many other departments across the country do. So, I think that's a big perk.
Sure.
But, many times, and, I come from the business world. So the number one factor is not always compensation for people to stay somewhere. It's other things such as culture. And when I mean culture is organizational culture. But also, the city that they live and represent, right? Which department do you want to represent? I'm very proud of, for example, of representing my city, of being a city representative for the city of El Paso. And what does that mean? So I think people, whatever department or organization you work for, you have to believe in it and believe in the culture it represents.
Okay.
So, when we talk about these issues, I know they're difficult topics, but I firmly believe that we must control the narrative of how we present ourselves to others around the country, because again, economic development is so important, and we want to make sure that people want to continue to come to El Paso. And it's not just even companies, right? people that work in the medical field as well. We have a lack of physicians here in the community.
Yeah.
How are we going to attract all of these medical professionals if they don't want to live in our city, right? So
Right.
the way we portray our city, I think, is so important, and we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, that's such a big subject. I've had a few surgeons, physicians on the program talking why they chose to move here. They saw the opportunity. I think sometimes what can happen is those of us, and I'm not among them, but who have spent our whole life here, we can fail to see the opportunity, whereas someone who just arrived, they see it in a new and fresh way. And so it's good for us to hear those stories and be reminded that, hey, someone moved here because they saw the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us with Representative Alejandra Chavez, she's District 1 here in El Paso. Super fun conversation. Not always easy because the challenges are not always easy, but I appreciate you coming in today, talking through all of these issues. We do need to take a break. Before we go into the break, this is where KELP Radio would like to thank our impact partners. These are local nonprofits, businesses, churches, educational institutions who have joined us in our journey to serve our community through this radio ministry. The business I'd like to point out today is Caring Companions Home Care Senior Service. If you have a loved one and they're at home, they need some help, and they want to stay at home, Caring Companions will provide the help you need so that they don't need to go into assisted living elsewhere. The website is caringcompanionsep.com. It's really great folks over there. It's been fun on this program to have multiple guests say that they use their services and they speak of them highly. We know the owners personally. If you have a loved one in that situation, what you do is you reach out to Caring Companions and describe the situation, and they can kind of paint a picture for you of what that would potentially look like. Again, it's caringcompanionsep.com, and you can view all of the KELP Radio Impact Partners by going to KELPradio.com. We're going to go into a break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
This is Pastor Steve Castrita. I'd like to extend the invitation for you to join us in service every Saturday at 5 p.m. at Redeeming Grace Church, El Paso. We are located at 2400 George Dieter inside Iglesia Philadelphia. We're a young church on the east side of El Paso with no smoke, no lasers, and no gimmicks, just the uncompromising Word of God and a call to win the 915 for Jesus Christ. We'd love to meet you and your family. God bless you, and thank you for listening to KELP.
Important announcement. You can now feed your mind, feed your soul with the KELP radio app. Listen to your favorite Christian teaching and talk programs on your smartphone from anywhere in the world with the KELP radio app. You can download the app on your app store now.
Greetings, KELP listeners. This is Terry Gray, pastor of Calvary Chapel, Sun City, and speaker on the Summons broadcast heard each weekday at 5 p.m. right here on this station. Calvary Chapel, Sun City is located at 960 West Borderland Road on the west side of El Paso. We hold services on Wednesday evenings at 7 and on Sunday mornings at 9 and 11. If you are without a church home, we would love to have you join us for worship and Bible study. You can find out more information about us on the web at www.ccsuncity.org.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Frecka. This hour is just flying by.
It really is.
Yeah, and so I think there's so many difficult questions. Before I ask this question, let's kind of be sure how city council works.
Okay.
So when you come to a city council meeting, I'm going to ask the really dumb question. You're there representing your district first, but you're also there to represent the city. And so often you're voting on issues that are outside your district, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I have to ask the question, I-10 overpass, park, this whole project. I love the idea of it being there. I'm terrified of a long period of time of traffic in a place where there is no traffic currently, although TxDOT is redoing the bridges anyway. And the other part is, of course, the money. So could you speak into that?
Yes. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're asking me all of these questions. And by the way, whether they're hard questions or not, I think it's important that we be able to dialogue and have an
Absolutely.
open,
Yeah.
honest conversation about things.
Sure.
So to your point, 7% of the time that I'm voting on the dais, I'm voting on District 1 issues.
7%.
About 53% of the time, I'm voting on issues that will affect the whole city.
Oh,
The
interesting.
entire city.
Okay.
And then everything else is divided by the other districts, which, by the way, there's 8 in total.
Right.
So I'm one of 8.
Sure.
I'm one of 8 votes.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to keep in mind. And I like to follow these numbers to get, perspective on how I come to make decisions or why I come to make decisions. But going back to your question about the upper deck, there are a lot of people that have asked me this. So this project is a project for the future, right? It's not a project that would ever come to fruition next year or even the year after that.
Right.
What's happening is that I-10 is going to get widened.
Right.
Either way, it's going to get widened. The question is, do we want to put in the infrastructure that's needed now to do an upper deck?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't do it when they widen I-10, then we miss the opportunity to do it altogether.
Okay.
So that's the question now.
Okay. So I haven't heard that before. That's interesting. So essentially, we could put in the infrastructure for the upper deck, and then we have the option to not put it in.
Yes, that's correct. It's
Okay.
called, so what we need to do is called future proofing. So we need a future proof I-10,
Oh, interesting.
basically put in the
Yeah.
infrastructure to do the upper deck if we were to find the funding source for it.
Okay. All right. And what's your personal feeling on all of it?
So my personal feeling is this. I'm going to talk about a few things. Number one is I've heard from people that are fiercely against the upper deck,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard from constituents that are strongly in favor of the upper deck.
Mm-hmm.
The city of El Paso just recently purchased some land for the expansion of the convention center, which is a much needed project to attract tourism and conventions and other types of events to our downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that ties directly into economic development. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think if we could do both projects, it would be even better. But what does that really mean, right? In terms of financial responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most difficult piece of this. I think having an upper deck and having the opportunity to provide that for our community and to attract people from all the surrounding area. I think you've had conversations probably with people in the surrounding region.
Yeah, absolutely.
And attracting people to come to our downtown and spend their money and time here and have all sorts of programming, events, and space. I think that would be wonderful. I mean, we just went through a phenomenal Winterfest, and maybe you've seen the press releases on that.
Right.
I think there were like over 70,000 people just on the day that we first kicked it off. I mean, San Jacinto Plaza was busting at the beams. Like, we could not get one more person there, even if we wanted to.
I got stuck in that traffic going to an event that was planned at the convention center on the first night of Winterfest. That had nothing to do with Winterfest.
Somehow this conversation's all tying back to traffic. Like, Daddy?
Yeah.
You there?
He's laughing.
Yeah, it's all coming back to traffic one way or another.
Well, no, it was funny. It was funny because didn't remember that the Winterfest was starting that evening, and there was a modeling event at the convention center that started that evening, and I don't normally go to modeling events except when my daughter is there.
Right.
And so my wife and I went. We live pretty close to downtown, 10 minutes to spare, and we had to be creative to make it on time. but it was super fun to get out of the car and see people throwing snowballs and ice skating, and just really everyone was excited. I
Yeah.
mean, it was super fun.
It was an extremely successful event, not only
Yeah.
that day when we opened, but all the weeks after that
Right.
that it happened.
Yeah.
But we've outgrown the space, and anybody who's been to Winterfest can see it and feel it and understand it. But right now, the conversation is about this future proofing, getting the infrastructure ready. Can we do that? Can we even do that? That's what we're discussing today.
Okay.
The future, I mean, I think it's going to depend a lot on the funding source. I've said it many times. Constituents don't want to be burdened with the payment of this, and they shouldn't be. And I've said that many times. So those conversations are still to be had, and we still have to figure it out.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's interesting to learn. And again, that's the point of this radio program, is to learn. I didn't understand that there was this idea of future proofing, this idea that if we don't build it a certain way now, we won't ever have the opportunity to do it in the future. So that's super interesting. Be interesting to hear the cost on that and all of those projections. When you look at now being a year in office, coming out of the business world, what has been the biggest adjustment for you?
Andy, I have to say, the biggest adjustment for me is not being able to get things done as quickly as possible.
I thought you were going to say that. So
you did.
If I could hand you a magic wand,
yeah,
or you could just snap your fingers and see one thing change in the west side of El Paso, or even in the city in general, what would that thing be?
I would start the Wrestler Connection project tomorrow.
Okay. So Wrestler Connection, I believe we talked about that last time you were here. Explain, nerd out for us for a little bit about why that's important and what maybe some of the hurdles are.
All right. It's important because the community that lives on the other side of Trans Mountain, which is Enchanted Hills, has very limited access in and out of their neighborhood.
Yeah, and I think that's also a matter of public safety, getting emergency response, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I think it's helpful for listeners, constituents to understand what some of the hurdles are. You would love to start it tomorrow. Why can't you start it tomorrow? Representative Chavez, I mean, you're the District 1 rep.
Didn't you say something about a magic wand?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't have one.
Yeah. But what are some of the hurdles that, like maybe we don't know about?
Well, first of all, I mean, all projects go through the Capital Improvement Department, and that goes through a design, right? Getting to the 100% design phase is difficult for many different reasons that I've come to learn. This project specifically was passed in 2022 through the Community Progress Bond, and now we're in 2026.
Wow.
And we're barely getting to 100% design. And that it didn't start in 2022. That's when the bond was passed.
Okay.
And then there's a timeline of events that have happened since then. The land that the street's going to get built on is not owned by the city. It has 3 different landowners.
Perfect.
So, yes. So, that's another part of the process. So it's the design phase, the land acquisition phase, the communication to the community phase, and then the procurement phase, and other, challenges and concerns that have come up in between all of those phases. So I think we're in a much better place. I feel a lot more confident that we're going to get there really soon. But things at the government, in the city, for many different reasons, work at a different pace than they do in private.
Right.
In the private world.
Is that speed that you're describing, are you learning that that's normal?
Well, let's just say it's typical, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a better word for it.
Right. And then are you able to predict somehow with a, I don't know, a crystal ball, or maybe there is some paperwork attached to it, what you think the completion of that project would be? We're 4 years in of design, so then, like, how far away are we from it actually being completed, or even
No, yeah.
ground being
So
broken?
yes, we're going to be breaking ground in the fall,
Okay.
early fall. That is
Okay.
all my conversations have led to that and have
Mhm.
assured me of that. So
Okay.
that's the latest information I
Sure.
have, and
Okay.
I'm sticking to it because I will do everything in my power to get there.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's yeah. I'm so glad I don't have your job, but that's interesting. 4 years of just getting to the point, and I think if that's the context, this fall seems real soon.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think they started the design right away. So I don't think
Yeah.
that they've been in design mode for 4 years, but it does take time. And there are a lot of people involved in a project, this size. So
Right. Okay. And we only have a couple minutes left. So tell us again about the community events and who you want to be there.
All right. First, I would want more engagement, more people to come to the community events. We have one every month. You can find out when those are going to be by following me on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Nextdoor at Rep Chavez. And you can also sign up for our newsletter to get information not only about the West Side and District 1 McDaddy, but you can also learn about events and programming all over the city of El Paso, so you don't have to drive through the traffic.
That's hilarious.
And still remain engaged.
All right.
Yes.
So I think in these kind of conversations, you're always challenged or asked, what are you going to do for the city, Representative? We voted you in. Now we want you to fix everything. Now I want to ask you the opposite question. We're faith-based radio. We have a lot of church-going folks listening. What would you like to see from the churches in El Paso?
I would like for the churches to also, tell their constituents, their parishes, to make sure that they're involved in local government. Many times we feel apathetic, and even in our own faith journey, we could become apathetic. Like, is God really listening?
Sure.
Sometimes people feel the same way about their local government.
That's funny.
Does anyone care? Is anyone listening?
Right.
And we always have to say, keep the faith.
Right.
I consider myself a public servant. I'm
Right.
here. I'm here to listen. Please reach out.
Okay. All right. In the last 30 seconds, how would you like to see El Paso different 10 years from now than the way it is today?
Yeah, I have 3 children. I mentioned them at the beginning of the show. I want this to be a city of opportunity for them and for the many others that live here, so that when they grow up, they have good paying jobs and they stay here by choice and not just because their family told them to stay.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Andy. What a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so much fun. And I think we learned a lot. We've been with Representative Alejandra Chavez. She's District 1 rep here in El Paso. As we always say, let's learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk. You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson.